Hi boys and girls, this is Mrs. Rodriguez. I'm hoping that everyone is doing well and staying safe. And I hope you're ready to start week 2 of distance learning. Okay, so if you have your packet with you, I'm going to kind of show you. Hopefully you have the one that says April 6th through April 10th in front of you. Okay, I'm going to go down to page 3. Here on page 3, if you look, it gives you some guidance as to what you can be doing every day this coming week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If you notice, Friday is a holiday, so hopefully you'll have your assignments done by then. There would technically be no school that day. Okay. On the assignment, it tells you to look at pages 2 to 4, do problems 1 through 8. Then on Tuesday, pages 4 to 6, do problems 9 through 16. And then Wednesday, pages 9 through 10, problems 17 through 22. And then page 10 through 12, number 23 to 28. Okay. So this will give you a little breakdown that you can do every day this week. If you want to do it all in one sitting, that's also, welcomed also. Okay. All right, so now if you look at page 4, they do give you a visual of the different shapes they're going to be talking about. They also go back and give you the formulas for all of these shapes. Okay, you should be very familiar with them, as last week's assignment was all about using the formulas for area. Okay, they did include the rhombus here. Really quickly on the rhombus, D1 and D2 stand for diagonal 1, diagonal 2. And all you have to do is multiply them together and then take the half of them. Okay. All right, so this week, there's what's going to be different is that last week they gave you the base and the height. You had to figure out the area. This week they're giving you the area and you have to figure out one of the sides, either the base or the height, one of the variables. Okay, so if you look at this first example, this one talks about a triangle and it's telling you it has an area of 300, so you already know the area. It's also telling you the height is 12.5. What they want you to look for is the equation that can be used to find the base. So you're looking for the base. Now they did this in 2 steps for you. Okay, so the first thing is, here is the formula. Okay, for the triangle, area equals 1/2 times the base times the height. Then what they did is they started substituting. So instead of the A, we know the value for the A for the area is 300. So they put 300 equals, they brought down the half, times the base times the height. Okay. Now notice that the 1/2 and the 12.5 are circled. That's because they multiplied those two. Okay. So when they multiplied those two, they got 6.25, and then they brought down the B, brought down the 300. So this right here is the equation that they're looking for. Okay, so stop right there, and that's going to be a part of your answer choices. When you look at number 1, this is what they're looking for, the equation. Okay, now if they want the actual value for the base, you take your equation, 300 equals 6.25b, and you want to isolate the variable. Okay, so you got to do the opposite operation. So if this is showing multiplication, the opposite is division. So you're going to divide by 6.25 on this side and divide by 6.25 on the other side. Okay, now when you divide that, the answer here is 48 on the left. On the right side, if you notice, there's like an outline of a 1. That's because when you divide 6.25 by 6.25, you end up with the number 1 as your answer. So really it's 1b, but remember we can write 1b like that, and that would be your answer for the base. Okay, so they do the same thing for the trapezoid and the parallelogram. So look at those examples and substitute the values, and you'll be able to solve that pretty well. Okay, all right, now if you go on to page 1, problem 1, okay, here they give you the area of a trapezoid is 120. That means that inside of here fit 120 square centimeters. Gives you the longer base, which is 14, and it gives you the shorter base, which is 10. What they want you to find is the equation, not the answer, the equation that's going to give you the height of the trapezoid. So remember, the height is a straight line going from the very top to the very bottom. All right, so the first thing we need to do is write down the formula, okay? So I'm going to kind of do this freehand. Hopefully you're able to understand my handwriting, okay? So A, the formula that we want is A equals 1/2 then we're going to fill in the rest of the formula, which is B1. It takes it a little while to come out. There you go. Plus B2 close the parentheses times the height. Okay, so this is there we go. That is the formula you need to be using because it is a trapezoid. Okay, now all we're going to do is we're going to substitute the values that we know. Well, up here they told you that the area was 120. So under the letter or the variable A, we're going to put 120. Okay, let's wait for that 2 to show up. There it is. You're going to substitute for your variable, so we're going to bring down the 1/2. Okay, and now we can substitute inside of the parentheses for base 1 and base 2. So base 1 is going to be 14, base 2 is going to be 10. So we're going to take 14 plus base 2, which is 10. Okay. And then we're going to multiply it by the height. Now if you look at the height, it tells you it's x. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fill it in as x. Okay, so there now you have your formula with your substituted values. Okay, now we're going to start solving. So you know that in your order of operations it says to do your parentheses first. So we're going to do 14 plus 10, which should be 24. Bring down your x because we still don't know the value there. Bring down your 1/2 equals. Bring down your 120. Try to fit it in. Okay, there we go. All right, and then so all you do then is multiply. What is 1/2 of 24? Remember that if you don't know what 1/2 of 24 is, you can actually turn this into a fraction and multiply these two. So 1 times 24, this is kind of doing it a little bit longer way, is 24 divided by what's 2 times 1? 2, and then bring down your x. Okay. You can skip that step if you already know what 1/2 of 24 is. Okay, I'm just trying to help those who need to see it visually. Alright, so 24 divided by 2, if you work it out on the side, should give you an answer of 12. And then bring down your x. Bring down your equal sign. And bring down your area of 120. Let's see if this cooperates. Alright, so stop right here because right here you have the equation that they're looking for. Okay, so if you look at my equation for this problem, it says 120 equals 12x. Okay, 120 equals 12 times the value of the height. So if you come over here, look at your answer choices, you can see that answer choice B says that. Okay, so 12x equals 120 is the same thing as 120 equals 12x. Okay, so they don't actually want you to solve it here, they just want you to find the equation. Okay, alright, now for the next part, which is number 2, number 2 says what is the height, oops, I went too far, what is the height of the trapezoid? Okay, they don't tell you here, but what they're actually doing is asking you to find the height of this trapezoid up here. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to use the equation that you came up with to find the height, because remember the height right now is x according to the picture. Okay, the height, the value is x. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so we're going to use that equation. Let me move it up so you can see it a little bit. We're going to use 120 equals 12x. Okay, so that equation is going to help us figure out the value of the height. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to solve it. Okay, so right now we've got multiplication going on here. If we want to isolate the variable, we want to do the opposite operation. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So you can divide this side by 12 and divide this side by 12. Okay, let's see if it comes up. All right, there we go. All right, so you're going to bring down your equal sign, just like I always do. And on the side, if you were to divide 120 by 12, you would get the answer of 10. Okay, on this side, 12 divided by 12, that is where you get 12 divided by 12 is equal to 1. So it's actually equal to 1x. And another way to write 1x, remember, is simply just x. So if you look at this right here, okay, and so you just bubble it in there. Okay, all right, so you're going to do the rest of these problems the same. If you look at number 3, okay, number 3 gives you a parallelogram. It gives you the it tells you the base and it tells you the area. You need to find the height. So again, here's the equation you're looking for. So do it like I did, except using the formula for a parallelogram. And then when you come to number 4, when it says the height, it wants the height of this one. Okay, so once you have the equation, once you pick one of these, use that equation to help you find the height by doing the opposite operation. Okay, all right, now you do have some volume questions in here. Okay, volume was actually something you did in 5th grade. Okay, so they give you a little bit of review. Volume is the amount of space a three-dimensional figure takes up. Okay, so they give you a 3D figure there. They also give you the formula that you saw in 5th grade. Volume equals length times width times height. Okay, and then they give you an example. Once you write down the formula, length times width times height, substitute. Here is your length, here is your width, here is your height. And then you multiply. And that's how they ended up getting 60. Okay. If you have some with fractions or mixed numbers, you can always change them to decimals if you want, or you can use the Texas strategy and multiply the fractions themselves. So you can follow the examples there that they gave you because they're very similar to the ones that we've done in class. Okay. Now, there are some problems in volume that are similar to the area ones we just did, where they give you the volume and you're looking for one of the dimensions, either the length, the width, or the height. Okay, so again, fill in what you know. Here's a good example of this one. And then they give you the steps to solving it. It's exactly the same as we did the area. Okay, and then you start your independent practice with this. Okay, there is an answer document to fill out. Okay, so once you figure it all out on your own paper, you can then go back to the assignment in the Google Classroom and look for the answer document that I uploaded. Go ahead and fill that out. In the answer document, on the open-ended ones, like this one, I only need the number, like the number 15. I don't need 15 square centimeters. Okay, I just need the number 15. All right, if y'all have any questions, please feel free to message me. I will be messaging you all individually this week. So just be on the lookout for that. I just want to check in to see how you're doing, if you have any questions on any of the assignments. Okay, all right, so I look forward to hearing from you and have a good week. Thank you. Be safe.